I'm sitting in my car outside the bank, staring at the ATM receipt in my trembling hands. The number glowing back at me makes no sense. It has to be a mistake. Our emergency fund, the $23,000 we've been building together for 3 years, shows a balance of $847. My name is Delilah Martinez, and 30 minutes ago, I thought I had my entire life figured out. I thought I was about to marry the man of my dreams. I thought we were building something beautiful together. Now I'm wondering if everything I believed was a lie. Let me back up. 6 months ago, if you told me I'd be having this moment, I would have laughed. Tyler and I were the couple everyone envied. We met 4 years ago at a mutual friend's barbecue, and from day one, it felt like we just clicked. He was charming, ambitious, working his way up at a tech startup downtown. I was a project coordinator at a marketing firm, nothing glamorous but steady work that I actually enjoyed. Tyler proposed last Christmas in front of both our families. It was everything I'd dreamed of: romantic, thoughtful, surrounded by the people we loved. My parents cried. His parents beamed with pride. His younger brother Jake even put down his phone long enough to take pictures. The wedding is supposed to be in 8 weeks. Was supposed to be. We've been living together for 2 years in a cute little rental house on Maple Street. Nothing fancy, but it's ours. We painted the living room sage green together last spring, arguing good-naturedly about whether we needed primer. We planted tomatoes in the backyard. We adopted a rescue cat named Biscuit who thinks Tyler hung the moon. Everything felt so settled, so right. Tyler's always been the financial planner between us. He has spreadsheets for everything: our monthly budget, wedding expenses, long-term savings goals. He set up our joint emergency fund account 2 months after we moved in together, and we've been religiously putting away $400 each every month. It wasn't always easy. I had to give up my daily coffee shop runs, and Tyler stopped buying expensive craft beer, but we were building something together. Security. A future. "This is for our real life," Tyler would say, kissing the top of my head as we made our monthly transfers. "For when we buy our first house, or if one of us loses a job, or if life throws us a curveball." The account was in both our names, but Tyler handled most of the banking since he was better with numbers. I trusted him completely. Why wouldn't I? Last Tuesday, Tyler came home from work looking stressed. He'd been putting in long hours lately, staying late at the office, bringing his laptop home on weekends. When I asked about it, he'd just say the startup was going through growing pains, and that he needed to prove himself if he wanted to make senior developer before our wedding. "Babe, I need to talk to you about something," he said, sitting heavily on our sage green couch. Biscuit immediately jumped into his lap. My stomach did a little flip. In my experience, conversations that start that way never end well. "What's going on?" I asked, settling next to him. He ran a hand through his dark hair, something he only did when he was really anxious. "The company's having some cash flow issues. My boss pulled me aside today and said they might need to do some temporary layoffs." "Oh no, do you think you're at risk?" "I don't know, maybe. I mean, I'm one of the newer hires, so..." He shrugged, but I could see the worry in his brown eyes. "I'm probably being paranoid, but I wanted to give you a heads up, just in case we need to tighten our belts for a while." I grabbed his hand. "Hey, we'll figure it out. That's what the emergency fund is for, right?" He nodded, but something flickered across his face too quickly for me to read. "Right, yeah, of course." That was 5 days ago. Since then, Tyler's been even more distant. He's been working late every night, barely touching his dinner when he gets home. Yesterday, he snapped at me for leaving dishes in the sink, something that's never bothered him before. When I tried to talk to him about wedding planning, he just said he had too much on his mind to think about centerpieces and seating charts. I understood. Job stress is real, and Tyler's always been a little high-strung when it comes to work. I figured the best thing I could do was handle as much of the wedding planning as possible and give him space to deal with whatever was happening at his job. Which brings me to this morning. My maid of honor, Jenna, called me at work around 11. "Hey, bride-to-be, I'm at the florist finalizing your bouquet order, and they need the deposit today. Can you transfer me $500? I'll cover it for now, but I know you wanted to keep track of all the wedding expenses." "Of course," I said, minimizing the spreadsheet I was working on. "Let me just transfer it from our emergency fund real quick." "You guys are so smart for keeping that separate," Jenna said. I wish David and I had been that organized before our wedding. I pulled up our bank's website and logged into the emergency fund account. I was already mentally calculating how the withdrawal would affect our balance. $23,000 minus $500 would still leave us with a very comfortable cushion when the page loaded. The number I saw didn't make sense. I blinked hard and refreshed the page. The number didn't change. $847. Delilah, you still there? Jenna's voice sounded far away. There's something wrong with the website, I managed. Can I call you back? I hung up without waiting for her answer and called the bank's customer service line. After 10 minutes of holding and going through security questions, a pleasant woman named Carol confirmed what I was seeing. Yes, ma'am, your current balance is $847.32. There was a large withdrawal on Friday for $22,152.68. A withdrawal? I didn't authorize any withdrawal. It shows here that it was done online, using the proper login credentials. Since you're both account holders, either party can make withdrawals without the other's signature. My hands started shaking. Can you tell me what time on Friday? Let's see, it was processed at 2:47 p.m. Friday at 2:47 p.m. I was in a 3-hour client meeting that didn't end until 5:30. Tyler gets off work at 4:00. Ma'am, is there anything else I can help you with today? No, I whispered, thank you. I hung up and sat staring at my computer screen, but I wasn't seeing the spreadsheet anymore. I was seeing Tyler's face when he told me about the potential layoffs. That flicker of something I couldn't read. I told my boss I had a family emergency and needed to leave early. She took one look at my face and told me to go, no questions asked. And now I'm sitting in my car in the bank parking lot, holding a receipt that confirms our emergency fund, our security, our future, our trust, is gone. My phone buzzes with a text from Tyler. Working late again tonight, don't wait up, love you. I love you. I stare at those two words until they blur together. 3 hours ago, I would have texted back a heart emoji and maybe a photo of what I was making for dinner. Now I don't know what to feel. There has to be an explanation. Tyler wouldn't just take our money without telling me. We're getting married in 8 weeks. We're supposed to be a team. But as I sit here in the fading afternoon light, a cold certainty settles in my chest. The late nights, the stress about work, the snapping over dishes, the way he couldn't meet my eyes when he talked about potential layoffs. Tyler took our money, and he lied to me about why. I drive home in a daze, my mind cycling through possible explanations. Maybe Tyler moved the money to a different account for a better interest rate and forgot to tell me. Maybe there's some kind of investment opportunity he wanted to surprise me with. Maybe he's planning some elaborate wedding surprise and needed access to cash. But even as I try to convince myself there's an innocent explanation, I keep coming back to the look on his face when he told me about work. The way he avoided eye contact. The way his hand twitched when I mentioned the emergency fund. I've known Tyler for 4 years. I've seen him stressed, excited, angry, happy. I've never seen him lie to me before, but I'm starting to think I just didn't know what his lying face looked like. Our house looks the same as always when I pull into the driveway. Same cheerful yellow front door, same flower boxes we planted together, same welcome mat his mom bought us for a housewarming gift. But something feels different now, like I'm seeing it all through a filter. Biscuit greets me at the door with his usual demanding meow, winding around my legs and purring. At least someone in this house is consistent. Hey, buddy, I say, scratching behind his ears. Where's Tyler, still at work? As if answering my question, Tyler's laptop sits open on the kitchen table, screen dark but clearly not shut down. His coffee mug from this morning sits next to it, still half full. His work bag is by the front door. He's been home today. A new kind of cold spreads through my chest. If Tyler came home today, why didn't he text me? He always lets me know when his schedule changes. I walk through the house like I'm seeing it for the first time. In the living room, there's a stack of mail on the coffee table that wasn't there this morning. I flip through it absently. Credit card offer, utilities, wedding invitation from Tyler's cousin, and freeze. At the bottom of the stack is a bank statement, not from our usual bank, from First National, addressed to Tyler. With shaking hands, I open it. It's a checking account I've never heard of, opened 3 months ago. The statement shows a balance of $20,000 with a large deposit on Friday afternoon, 22,152.68. The exact amount missing from our emergency fund. I sink onto the couch, staring at the statement. This isn't a mistake or a surprise investment. Tyler deliberately moved our money into a secret account, an account he opened without telling me, at a bank we don't normally use. Why? I'm still sitting there, holding the statement, when I hear Tyler's key in the front door. He's whistling, something he only does when he's in a really good mood. "D, you home early?" he calls out. I quickly shove the bank statement under the throw pillow next to me, in the living room. Tyler appears in the doorway, still in his work clothes but with that relaxed posture that means his day is over. He looks happy, lighter than he's looked all week. "How was your day?" he asks, kissing the top of my head before settling into his favorite chair. The casualness of it, the normal husband coming home from work routine, feels surreal when I'm sitting here with proof of his deception literally under the cushion next to me. "It was interesting," I say carefully. "Jenna called about the florist deposit." Something shifts in Tyler's expression. It's subtle, but I'm looking for it now. "Oh yeah, how much do they need?" 500. I was going to transfer it from our emergency fund, but I let the sentence hang there, watching his face. Tyler's jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. "But what?" "There's only $800 left in the account." The silence stretches between us. Tyler stares at me for a long moment, and I can practically see him calculating what to say. Finally, he runs that hand through his hair again. "Shit, I was going to tell you about that tonight." "Tell me what exactly?" He leans forward, elbows on his knees, going for earnest and apologetic. "You know how I've been worried about the layoffs? Well, it's worse than I thought. My boss called me into his office Friday afternoon and said they need to let people go starting Monday." I wait for him to continue. "He offered me a deal. If I could invest in the company, show that I believe in its future, he'd guarantee my position and fast-track my promotion to senior developer." The lie flows so smoothly from his lips that if I didn't have the bank statement, I might believe him. "Invest how?" I ask. 22,000. I know it sounds like a lot, but D, this is my career we're talking about, our future. If I get this promotion, it's a 40% salary increase. We'll make back the money in less than a year. "And you didn't think to discuss this with me first?" His face flushes. "I tried to call you Friday, but you were in that client meeting, and he needed an answer by end of business or the deal was off. I had to make a judgment call." A judgment call about our emergency fund, the money we've been saving together for 3 years. "I know you're upset." "I'm not upset, Tyler. I'm confused, because the story you're telling me doesn't make sense." His eyes narrow slightly. "What do you mean?" "I called the bank. The withdrawal was made at 2:47 Friday afternoon. Your boss couldn't have talked to you before that if you don't get off work until 4:00. For just a second, Tyler looks like a deer caught in headlights. Then his expression hardens. "Fine, you want the whole truth? I've been talking to my boss about this for weeks. The layoffs aren't a surprise. I've known they were coming. I've been trying to figure out how to save my job without worrying you about it." "By lying to me." "By protecting you?" His voice rises, and Biscuit bolts from the room. "Do you have any idea how much pressure I've been under? We have a wedding in 8 weeks, a mortgage we want to apply for after we're married, and my job was hanging by a thread. I saw an opportunity to secure our future, and I took it. Without telling me. Because I knew you'd react exactly like this. You'd worry and overthink and want to have a million conversations about pros and cons, and I didn't have time for that. Sometimes you have to make executive decisions, Delilah. Executive decisions about our shared money, our shared future." "Where's the money now?" I ask quietly. "What?" "If you invested it in your company, where's the money?" Tyler stands up and starts pacing. It's complicated. There are different phases to the investment, legal paperwork. It's not like I can just write a check. I watch him pace and realize that somewhere in the last few minutes, I stopped believing anything he says. The bank statement burning a hole under the pillow next to me shows exactly where our money is, sitting in Tyler's secret account, not invested in anything. I need some air, I say, standing up. D, come on, don't be like this. We're supposed to be a team. A team, I turn to look at him, really look at him. This man I've shared a bed with for 2 years, planned a future with, trusted completely. And I realize I have no idea who he actually is. You're right, I say. We are supposed to be a team. But teams don't make executive decisions without consulting each other. Teams don't lie about where $22,000 went. I didn't lie. Stop, the word comes out sharper than I intended. Just stop talking, I need to think. I grab my keys and purse, and Tyler follows me to the door. Where are you going? For a drive, I'll be back later. Delilah, we need to talk about this. I pause with my hand on the door handle. No, Tyler, you needed to talk about this before you took our money. Now I need to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. I leave him standing in our cheerful yellow doorway and drive away from our house, our life, our supposed future together. I don't have a destination in mind, but I find myself pulling into the parking lot of Murphy's Bar, a little dive place where Jenna and I sometimes go for girls' night. It's dim inside, with sticky floors and the kind of bartender who doesn't ask questions when you order whiskey at 4:30 in the afternoon. I sit at the far end of the bar with my drink and finally let myself feel the full weight of what's happening. My fiancé stole from me, lied to my face, made unilateral decisions about our shared money, and then tried to gaslight me into thinking I was overreacting. The worst part isn't even the money, though $22,000 is more than I make in 6 months after taxes. The worst part is that he looked me in the eye and lied. Smoothly, convincingly, like he'd been practicing. How long has he been lying to me? My phone buzzes with texts from Tyler. I'm sorry, I didn't handle this better. Can you please just come home so we can talk? I know you're hurt, but I was trying to protect us. Delilah, please answer me. I turn my phone face down and order another whiskey. A woman about my age sits down 2 stools over, also nursing a drink and looking like she's had a rough day. After a few minutes of comfortable mutual ignoring, she glances over. Relationship drama, she asks. I laugh, but it comes out bitter. Is it that obvious? Honey, I've been coming here for 3 years and I know that look. What'd he do? Something about her matter-of-fact tone makes me want to tell her everything. Maybe it's the whiskey, or maybe I just need to say it out loud to someone who doesn't know Tyler, doesn't have an opinion about our relationship. He stole $22,000 from our joint account and lied about where it went. She whistles low. Damn, that's not regular relationship drama, that's fraud. We're supposed to get married in 8 weeks. Are you? The question hangs in the air between us. Am I? Can you marry someone who lies to you about money? Someone who makes major decisions without consulting you and then tries to make you feel crazy for being upset? I don't know, I admit. Well, she says, raising her glass, here's to not knowing. Sometimes not knowing is the first step toward knowing. We drink to that, and I realize she's right. 6 hours ago, I thought I knew everything about my life, my future, my fiancé. Now I know I don't know anything. But maybe that's better than thinking you know something that isn't true. I stay at Murphy's Bar until the dinner crowd starts filtering in, then drive to Jenna's apartment. She takes one look at my face and pulls me inside without asking questions. What happened? She says, settling me on her couch with a cup of tea. I tell her everything. The empty emergency fund, Tyler's shifting explanations, the secret bank account, the lies piled on top of lies. Jenna listens without interrupting, her expression growing darker with each detail. That son of a bitch, she says when I finish. Delilah, you know this is financial abuse, right? It's not abuse, he's just... What would you call it if someone took your money without permission and then lied to you about it? I stare into my tea. Theft. Right, And what would you call it if someone tried to convince you that your completely reasonable reaction to being stolen from was an overreaction? Gaslighting. So we have theft and gaslighting. What would you call it when someone makes major financial decisions that affect both of you without consulting you? Financial control. Jenna nods grimly. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but from where I'm sitting, your fiancé committed a crime against you and then tried to manipulate you into thinking it was okay. But maybe there really is an explanation. Maybe the money really is invested somewhere and he just didn't know how to tell me. Honey, Jenna's voice is gentle but firm. You found a bank statement showing that the exact amount of your missing money is sitting in Tyler's secret account. There's no investment. There's no company deal. There's just Tyler lying to you. I set down my tea and bury my face in my hands. The wedding is in 8 weeks. We have deposits, vendors, family flying in. Forget the wedding for a minute. Do you want to marry someone who steals from you? Of course not, but... No buts. Do you want to marry someone who lies to your face and then tries to make you feel crazy for being upset about it? No. Then the wedding is the least of your concerns. I look up at her. But what if I'm overreacting? What if this is just a misunderstanding that got out of hand? Jenna sits back and crosses her arms. Okay, let's say it is a misunderstanding. Let's say Tyler really did invest your money in his company, and there's paperwork somewhere that proves it, and he's going to get a promotion and pay it all back with interest. Okay. He still took $22,000 of your money without asking you. Right. And when you confronted him about it, he lied, multiple times, different stories each time. And yes. And when you caught him in the lies, instead of apologizing and showing you proof of where the money really went, he got defensive and tried to make you feel guilty for not trusting him. I close my eyes, yes. So even in the absolute best case scenario, where there's some innocent explanation for all of this, Tyler has still shown you that he thinks he can make major decisions about your shared finances without consulting you, that he thinks lying to you is acceptable, and that he thinks your feelings about being lied to don't matter. You're right, the words feel heavy in my mouth. I'm sorry, sweetie. I know this isn't what you want to hear. I sit there for a long moment, feeling something shift inside me. The desperate need to find an innocent explanation to preserve the relationship I thought I had is fading. In its place is something cooler, sharper, anger. Tyler stole from me. He lied to me. And when I caught him, he tried to make me feel like I was the problem. What should I do? I ask. What do you want to do? I want him to tell me the truth. I want to know where my money really is and why he took it. And I pause, surprised by the strength of what I'm feeling. I want him to face consequences for what he did. Jenna nods approvingly. Now we're talking. What kind of consequences? I don't know, but I can't just let this go. If I do, what's next? Does he start making decisions about the mortgage without me? Our kids' college funds? At what point does it end? It doesn't end, it escalates. My phone buzzes with another text from Tyler. I made dinner. Please come home so we can figure this out together. Figure this out together? Like we're a team working on a problem, instead of him being the problem. I need to know what I'm dealing with, I say. Before I make any decisions about the wedding or our relationship, I need to know the truth about where that money went and why he really took it. How are you going to find that out? I think about it. Tyler's already lied to me multiple times. He's not going to suddenly start telling the truth just because I ask nicely. If I want real answers, I'm going to have to find them myself. I need evidence, I say. Bank records, computer history, phone records, something concrete that shows what he did with the money. That sounds like a lot of detective work. Yeah, it does. And you're sure you want to go down that road? Once you start investigating your fiancé, there's no going back to the way things were. I look at her. Jenna, the way things were was built on a lie. Tyler violated my trust in the worst possible way, and he's still lying to me about it. There's already no going back. She nods. Okay, then let's figure out how to get you some answers. We spend the next 2 hours planning. Jenna, it turns out, has some experience with this kind of thing. Her ex-boyfriend maxed out her credit cards behind her back, and she had to become a forensic accountant just to figure out where the money went. The good news is that financial records leave a trail, she says. Money doesn't just disappear. It goes somewhere and there's always documentation. She helps me make a list of things to look for: bank statements, credit card records, emails about investments or business deals, text messages, computer search history, receipts, anything that might show where the money really went. The tricky part is getting access to his personal stuff without him knowing, Jenna says. Do you have access to his laptop? He leaves it open sometimes, but it's usually password protected. What about his phone? I don't know his passcode. Email. He uses Gmail, but I don't know his password. Jenna taps her fingers on the coffee table, thinking, what about the old-fashioned way? Physical evidence. Bank statements, receipts, papers left lying around. I think about the first national statement I found under our couch cushions. He's not very careful about hiding things. I think he assumes I won't go looking. That could work in your favor. How much time do you have when he's not around? He's usually at work from 8:30 to 4:30, but he's been coming home for lunch sometimes lately. Okay, so you have maybe 6 hours tomorrow to go through everything. That should be enough to find something. The plan we come up with is simple. Tomorrow morning, I'll call in sick to work and spend the day systematically going through Tyler's belongings. Bank statements, computer files, phone records if I can access them. Anything that might tell me where our money really went. What if you don't find anything? Jenna asks. Then I'll know he's better at hiding things than I thought. But Jenna, I have to try. I can't marry someone I don't trust, and I can't trust him until I know what really happened. And if you do find something, if you discover he spent the money on gambling, or another woman, or just wanted a secret nest egg, I consider this. Then at least I'll know what I'm dealing with, and I can make a decision based on facts instead of his lies. What about the weddings? The wedding, 8 weeks away. Deposits paid, invitations sent, my dress hanging in the closet at home. The thought of canceling everything, of disappointing our families, of admitting that our perfect relationship was a sham, makes me feel sick. But the thought of marrying Tyler, without knowing who he really is, makes me feel worse. One thing at a time, I say. First, I find out the truth, then I decide what to do about it. Jenna drives me back to Murphy's bar to get my car, and I sit in the parking lot for a few minutes, gathering courage to go home. My phone shows 4 more texts from Tyler, increasingly frantic. I'm getting worried, where are you? Can you at least let me know you're safe? I love you, whatever's wrong we can fix it. Delilah, please come home. That last one was sent 10 minutes ago. I can picture him pacing around our house, checking his phone every few seconds, maybe even driving around looking for my car. The thought gives me a grim satisfaction. Good, let him worry. Let him wonder what I'm thinking, what I'm planning. Let him feel a fraction of the uncertainty and fear he's put me through. I text back, I'm safe, coming home soon. Then I turn off my phone and drive home to face whatever comes next. Tyler's waiting in the living room when I walk in, and he looks terrible. His hair is disheveled from running his hands through it. His shirt is wrinkled, and there are dark circles under his eyes like he hasn't slept. Thank God, he says, jumping up from the couch. I was about to call the police. That seems a little dramatic. Dramatic, Delilah, you've been gone for 6 hours. You weren't answering your phone. I had no idea where you were or if you were okay. The concern in his voice sounds genuine, and for a moment I almost soften. Almost let myself fall back into the pattern of comforting him, reassuring him, making everything okay between us. Then I remember the bank statement hidden under the couch cushions, and the moment passes. I needed time to think. And what did you decide? He's looking at me with such hope, like he expects me to say I've gotten over it, that we can put this behind us and move on. The arrogance of it takes my breath away. I decided that I need to understand what really happened before we can move forward. Tyler's face falls slightly. I told you what happened. I invested the money to save my job. Right, and I need to see some proof of that. And proof. Documentation, contracts, something that shows where the money actually went. Tyler's jaw tightens. You don't believe me. I don't know what to believe, Tyler. You've told me 3 different versions of this story in the last 6 hours. So, yes, I need to see some proof. He runs his hand through his hair again. That's really hurtful, Delilah. After 4 years together, you don't trust me enough to take my word. And there it is again. The deflection, the attempt to make me the bad guy for not trusting someone who just stole from me. You took $22,000 of our money without telling me, I say evenly. Trust isn't really the issue here anymore. Fine, Tyler's voice is cold now. Fine, if you need documentation, I'll get you documentation. But I want you to know that it hurts that you think I would lie to you about something this important. I'll be sure to make a note of that, I say dryly. Tyler stares at me for a long moment, and I can see him trying to figure out what happened to his compliant, trusting fiancé. Where's the woman who always gave him the benefit of the doubt, who smoothed over conflicts, who put his needs ahead of her own? She's gone, and she's not coming back. I'm going to bed, I say. We can talk more tomorrow. Are we okay? I mean, are we still getting married? I look at him, really look at him. This man I thought I knew, who I planned to spend my life with, and I realize I have no idea who he is anymore. I don't know, Tyler, I honestly don't know. I leave him standing in our living room and go upstairs to bed. But I don't sleep. Instead, I lie in the dark next to my fiancé and plan how I'm going to uncover his lies. Tomorrow, I'm going to find out what Tyler really did with our money, and then I'm going to decide what to do about it. Tyler leaves for work at his usual time the next morning, kissing the top of my head and promising to bring home documentation about the investment. I wait 30 minutes after his car disappears down our street, then call in sick to work and begin my investigation. I start with the obvious places. Tyler's desk in our home office is usually meticulously organized, but this morning there are papers scattered across the surface. Bank statements from accounts I've never heard of, printed emails, even a handwritten note with dollar amounts. My hands shake as I spread everything out, trying to make sense of what I'm seeing. There are 3 different bank statements from First National, all addressed to Tyler only, all opened within the last 4 months. The first account shows regular deposits of $500 going back to February. The second account, the one I found yesterday, shows the $22,152 deposit from our emergency fund. The third account is nearly empty, just an opening deposit of $100. But it's the printed emails that make my blood run cold. The first one is from something called Lucky Strike Online Casino, thanking Tyler for his continued loyalty and offering him a high roller bonus on his next deposit. The email is dated 3 weeks ago. The second email is from Platinum Poker Room, congratulating Tyler on reaching VIP status and inviting him to an exclusive tournament. This one is from last month. The third email is from a debt consolidation company, offering Tyler a loan to pay off your gambling debts quickly and discreetly. This one is from 2 days ago. I sink into Tyler's desk chair, staring at the evidence spread in front of me. Our emergency fund, the money we saved together for our future, our security, our wedding, is gone because Tyler has a gambling problem. Not only that, but he's been gambling for months. The regular deposits in the first account match up with money I thought he was spending on work lunches and weekend activities. He's been lying to me about where he goes, what he does, how he spends his time for months. And now he's so deep in debt that he had to steal from our emergency fund to keep playing. I feel sick, physically, nauseously sick. This isn't just about money anymore. This is about discovering that my fiancé is a completely different person than I thought I knew. I pick up the handwritten note. It's Tyler's handwriting, columns of numbers with casino names next to them. Lucky Strike, $3,200. Platinum Poker, $1,800. Vegas Dreams, the list goes on, a catalog of losses that adds up to over $18,000. At the bottom, in Tyler's neat block letters, Emergency Fund, $23,000, enough to cover debts plus keep playing. Keep playing. He didn't steal our money to pay off his debts. He stole it to keep gambling. I'm still staring at the note when I hear Tyler's key in the front door. My heart slams against my ribs. He's not supposed to be home for hours. "Dee, you here?" His voice carries up the stairs. I quickly shove all the papers back into the desk drawers, but my hands are shaking so badly I drop the handwritten note. It flutters to the floor just as Tyler's footsteps start up the stairs. "I forgot my laptop," he calls out. "Had to come back for." He stops in the doorway of the office, taking in my guilty expression and the piece of paper at my feet. For a moment, we just stare at each other. Then Tyler's face goes very, very calm. "What are you doing in here, Delilah?" "I was looking for a pen," I lie, but we both know it's too late for that. Tyler walks over and picks up the note I dropped. His eyes scan it, then move to the desk drawers I hastily shoved the other papers into. "You went through my things." "Tyler, you went through my personal papers, my private correspondence." His voice is eerily controlled. "That's a violation of my privacy." "Your privacy?" The words explode out of me. "You're talking to me about privacy? You stole $22,000 from our joint account to feed your gambling addiction, and you're worried about your privacy." Tyler's calm mask slips for just a second, and I see something ugly underneath. "You don't understand." "I understand perfectly. You've been gambling for months. You've been lying to me about where you go, what you do, how you spend money. And when you got in so deep you couldn't hide it anymore, you stole from our emergency fund to keep playing." "It's not stealing if it's our money." "It absolutely is stealing. We both contributed to that account. We both agreed it was for emergencies. You don't get to unilaterally decide that your gambling debts count as an emergency." Tyler sets the note down carefully on his desk. "I was going to tell you. When, after you lost that money too. I'm not going to lose it. I have a system now. I know what I was doing wrong before." "Tyler, listen to yourself. You sound like every gambling addict in every movie ever made. I have a system. This time is different. I can win it all back." "Don't call me an addict." "What would you call someone who lies to his fiancé for months so he can gamble away their wedding fund?" Tyler's face flushes red. "You have no idea what kind of pressure I've been under. Work is hell, the wedding costs keep going up, everyone expects me to have all the answers." "So you decided to handle that pressure by gambling." "I decided to handle it by trying to make some money. Do you know how much we need for the house down payment? For the wedding? For our future? I was trying to help us." "By gambling." "By taking a calculated risk that could have paid off big." I stare at him, amazed by his ability to reframe theft and addiction as some kind of noble sacrifice. "Tyler, you lost $18,000 in 4 months. How is that helping us?" "Those were learning experiences. I know what I'm doing now." "No, you don't. You're an addict, and addicts don't know what they're doing. That's what makes them addicts." Tyler slams his hand down on the desk, making me jump. "Stop calling me that. Then stop acting like one. Get help. Admit you have a problem and get help." "I don't have a problem. I had some bad luck, that's all. The emergency fund will turn it around." "Tyler," I try to keep my voice steady. "The emergency fund is gone. You spent it, all of it." "Not all of it. I still have 20,000. "No, you don't." Tyler goes very still. "What do you mean?" "I checked the balance this morning, on all 3 accounts. You have $800 left total." The color drains from Tyler's face. That's not possible." "You gambled it away, all of it in 3 days." Tyler grabs his laptop and frantically starts typing. I watch his face crumble as he checks his account balances, as the reality of what he's done hits him. "Oh God," he whispers. "Oh God, oh God, oh God." "Tyler, I can fix this." He's typing frantically now. "There's a poker tournament tonight with a $10,000 buy-in, if I can just borrow." "Stop," my voice cuts through his panic. "Just stop. You're not borrowing any more money. You're not gambling any more money. You're done." "But I can win it back." "Tyler," I grab his shoulders and force him to look at me. "You are done. No more gambling, no more lying, no more stealing. This ends now." He looks at me like he doesn't recognize me. You can't tell me what to do with my money. It's not your money, it was our money, and you stole it and now it's gone. There is no more money. There has to be, the wedding is in 7 weeks, we need. We're not having a wedding. The words surprise me as much as they surprise Tyler. I hadn't consciously made that decision, but saying it out loud, I realize I mean it. What? We're not getting married, Tyler. Not in 7 weeks, not ever. This is over. You don't mean that. I absolutely mean it. You lied to me for months. You stole from me. You have a gambling addiction that you refuse to acknowledge, let alone treat. Why would I marry someone like that? Because you love me. I loved who I thought you were, but that person doesn't exist, does he? The Tyler I fell in love with was responsible with money. Honest, trustworthy. That was all a lie. Tyler starts crying then, ugly sobs that shake his whole body. Please, Dee, please don't do this. I'll get help. I'll stop gambling. I'll do whatever you want. It's too late for that. It's not too late. I'll prove it to you. Tyler, I keep my voice gentle but firm. It's over. I'm done. He looks at me through his tears, and I can see him cycling through the stages of grief in real time. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression. Where will you go? He asks quietly. I'll figure it out. Right now, I just need you to leave. Leave? This is my house too. And I'm asking you to leave so I can pack my things in peace. You owe me that much. Tyler stares at me for a long moment. Then he nods, grabs his laptop, and walks out of the office. I hear his footsteps on the stairs, the front door opening and closing, his car starting in the driveway. And then I'm alone in our house, his house, with the wreckage of our life together spread out around me. I called Jenna from Tyler's desk phone. How did it go? She asks. Worse than I thought. He's a gambling addict. He's been lying to me for months. He lost all our money in 3 days after he took it. Jesus Christ, Delilah, I'm so sorry. The wedding is off. Good, I'm sorry, but good. You can't marry someone like that. I know, but Jenna, I need help. I need to cancel everything, tell our families, figure out where I'm going to live. I don't even know where to start. Start by getting out of there. Pack a bag and come stay with me. We'll figure out everything else together. What about the deposits, the vendors? My parents already bought plane tickets. Honey, one thing at a time. Right now, you just need to get somewhere safe where you can think clearly. Safe? I hadn't realized until she said it that I don't feel safe in this house anymore. Not with Tyler's secrets hidden in every drawer, not with the evidence of his lies scattered across his desk. Okay, I say, I'll pack a bag and be there in an hour. I'll pick up some wine and ice cream, and maybe some chocolate. Jenna. Yes. Thank you for believing me yesterday, for helping me figure out what to do. I don't know what I would have done without you. That's what friends are for. Now get out of there before he comes back. I pack quickly, shoving clothes and toiletries into my old college duffel bag. Biscuit watches me from the bed, his green eyes worried. I'm sorry, buddy, I tell him, scratching under his chin. You're going to have to stay with Tyler for now, but I'll figure something out, okay? As I'm leaving, I spot our wedding invitations stacked on the kitchen counter, ready to be mailed. Beautiful cream cardstock with elegant gold lettering, announcing our joyous union in 8 weeks. I pick up the whole stack and drop it in the trash. Then I walk out of Tyler's house and drive toward whatever comes next. 3 weeks later, I'm sitting in the conference room of Peterson, Martinez and Associates, the law firm Jenna helped me find. Across the mahogany table sits Tyler, flanked by his own lawyer, looking like he hasn't slept in days. His usually perfect hair is unkempt, his shirt wrinkled, and there are dark circles under his eyes. Good. My lawyer, Patricia Martinez, no relation, despite the name, is a sharp woman in her 50s who specializes in financial fraud cases. She's been methodically building my case for the past 3 weeks while I've been staying with Jenna and trying to put my life back together. Mr. Richardson, Patricia says, opening a thick folder, my client has provided evidence that you fraudulently withdrew $22,152.68 from a joint account without her knowledge or consent. Do you dispute these facts? Tyler's lawyer, a nervous-looking young man named Derek something, glances at his notes. My client acknowledges that he made the withdrawal, but maintains that as a joint account holder, he had every right to access those funds. For gambling purposes, the purpose of the withdrawal is irrelevant. Actually, Patricia interrupts smoothly, in the state of Colorado, using joint marital assets for gambling constitutes financial fraud, particularly when done without the knowledge of the other account holder. But we'll get to that. She pulls out the first exhibit, printouts of all Tyler's gambling accounts, his losses, his debts. I've seen these documents dozens of times in the past 3 weeks, but they still make me feel sick. Mr. Richardson, you've been gambling online since February of this year. Is that correct? Tyler nods reluctantly. And during that time, you lost approximately $18,000 of your personal funds. The amounts fluctuated. Mr. Richardson, yes or no? Did you lose approximately $18,000 gambling between February and May? And yes. And when you ran out of personal funds, you took money from the joint emergency account you shared with my client. I was going to pay it back. Yes or no, Mr. Richardson? Tyler's jaw tightens, yes. And you used this money to continue gambling. I was trying to win back what I'd lost. Yes or no? And yes. Patricia turns to a fresh page in her folder. My client has also provided evidence that you opened multiple bank accounts without her knowledge, using funds that should have been community property. Is this correct? Tyler glances at his lawyer, who nods almost imperceptibly. Yes. And you have outstanding gambling debts in the amount of approximately $12,000. This is news to me. I knew about the $18,000 he'd lost, but I hadn't known he owed even more money on top of that. I'm working on a payment plan. Yes or no, Mr. Richardson? And yes. Patricia leans back in her chair. So, to summarize, you have a gambling addiction that you concealed from your fiancé for months. You lost $18,000 of your own money feeding this addiction. You then stole over $22,000 from your shared emergency fund to continue gambling. You lost all of that money as well. And you currently owe an additional $12,000 in gambling debts. Is this an accurate summary? Tyler is staring at the table, his face flushed with shame. Yes. Your Honor, Patricia says. Wait, no, we're not in court. This is just a settlement conference, trying to resolve things without going to trial. But Patricia has such a commanding presence that it feels like a courtroom. Given these facts, Patricia continues, my client is seeking full restitution of the stolen funds, plus interest and legal fees. She's also seeking a restraining order preventing Mr. Richardson from accessing any of her personal accounts or contacting her directly. Derek, Tyler's lawyer, finally speaks up. Ms. Martinez, my client doesn't have the funds to pay full restitution. As you've noted, he has significant gambling debts. That's not my client's problem. Perhaps we could work out a payment plan. My client tried working things out with Mr. Richardson privately for 3 weeks. He continued gambling and accumulated more debt. She has no faith in his ability to honor a payment plan. I watched this exchange feeling surreal. 3 months ago, Tyler and I were picking out wedding cake flavors. Now lawyers are negotiating how much money he has to pay me back for stealing from me. What does your client propose? Derek asks. Patricia slides a document across the table. Mr. Richardson will liquidate all assets, his car, his electronics, anything of value. He'll take out a personal loan for the remainder. Full payment within 60 days, or we file criminal charges for fraud and theft. Tyler's head snaps up. Criminal charges. Mr. Richardson, you committed multiple felonies. Fraud, theft, identity theft for opening accounts, using community property without consent. My client has been generous in offering to resolve this civilly. Identity theft, Derek looks panicked. Ms. Martinez, surely. Mr. Richardson used information from their joint tax returns to establish credit for his gambling accounts. He used their shared address and phone number. He listed my client as a reference on credit applications without her knowledge. This absolutely constitutes identity theft under Colorado law. I had no idea about any of this. Patricia has been digging deeper into Tyler's financial crimes than I even knew to look for. Tyler is crying now, silent tears rolling down his cheeks. Delilah, please, we don't have to do this. We can work something out privately. I speak for the first time since we sat down. No, we can't. I'll sell the house, I'll liquidate my retirement account, I'll get a second job. Tyler, stop. I love you. I know I screwed up, but I love you and we can fix this. No, we can't. My voice is steady, controlled. You stole from me. You lied to me for months. You have a gambling addiction that you refuse to treat. There's nothing to fix. I'll get treatment. I'll go to therapy, Gamblers Anonymous, whatever you want. Because your lawyer told you to, not because you think you need it. Tyler falls silent. Patricia pulls out another document. There's one more thing, Mr. Richardson. My client has evidence that you've continued gambling since she confronted you 3 weeks ago. Tyler's face goes white. I haven't. You made a $500 deposit to Lucky Strike Online Casino 2 days ago. You spent 6 hours at the Blackhawk casinos last weekend. Should I continue? I feel like I've been punched in the stomach. Even after everything, after losing all our money, after I left him, after I hired a lawyer, Tyler is still gambling. You said you would stop, I whisper. Tyler won't meet my eyes. I was upset, I wasn't thinking clearly. You promised me you would stop. It was just a couple of small bets. Tyler, my voice cuts through his excuses, sign the settlement agreement. Delilah. Sign it now, or I walk out of here and let Patricia file criminal charges. Tyler looks at his lawyer, who nods grimly. With shaking hands, Tyler signs the document that will require him to pay me back every penny he stole, plus interest and my legal fees. As we're leaving the conference room, Tyler catches up to me in the hallway. Wait, please. I turn around. I know you hate me right now, and I understand why. But I want you to know that I never meant to hurt you. I love you more than anything, and losing you is worse than losing all that money. I look at this man I once planned to spend my life with. He looks broken, desperate, lost, and I feel nothing. Not anger, not sadness, not even pity. Just a kind of empty relief that it's over. Tyler, I say quietly, if you really loved me, you wouldn't have stolen from me in the first place. I made a mistake. No, a mistake is forgetting to pay a bill or double booking dinner plans. What you did was a series of deliberate choices to lie to me and steal from me for months. That's not love. I don't know what it is, but it's not love. Tyler starts crying again. I'm going to get help, real help, and someday maybe. No, I cut him off. There's no someday for us, Tyler. This is goodbye. I walk away from him for the last time, leaving him crying in the hallway of his lawyer's office. 6 months later, I'm sitting on the porch of the small apartment I'm renting across town, watching the sunset and scratching Biscuit behind his ears. Yes, I got custody of the cat. It turns out that when you can prove someone is financially unstable due to gambling addiction, judges don't think they're responsible enough to care for pets. Tyler paid back every penny as ordered. He had to sell his car, liquidate his retirement account, and take out a loan, but the money was in my account within 60 days. I used part of it to put a down payment on this apartment, and the rest went into a new emergency fund, one that only I have access to. I never did press criminal charges. Patricia thought I should, but in the end, I decided that getting my money back and getting Tyler out of my life was enough. He's going to therapy now, apparently. Gamblers Anonymous meetings 3 times a week. His brother Jake calls me sometimes to update me on his progress, like I should care. I don't. The wedding that never happened would have been this weekend. Instead, I'm hosting a small dinner party for my friends, Jenna, my coworkers, the neighbors who helped me move into this place. We're celebrating my promotion at work. Turns out I'm much more focused and ambitious when I'm not managing someone else's lies and secrets, and Jenna's engagement to her boyfriend David. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. I saw your promotion announcement on LinkedIn. Congratulations, you deserve it, I hope you're happy. T. I delete it without responding. People ask me sometimes if I regret calling off the wedding, if I miss Tyler, if I think we could have worked things out with counseling. The answer is always no. Not because I'm angry. I'm not anymore, but because I've learned something important about myself over the past 6 months. I deserve better. I deserve a partner who tells me the truth, even when it's hard. I deserve someone who sees our shared money as our shared responsibility. I deserve someone who comes to me with problems instead of hiding them until they explode. I deserve respect. Tyler never respected me. He didn't respect my intelligence enough to tell me the truth. He didn't respect my autonomy enough to include me in major financial decisions. He didn't respect my trust enough to stop lying even after he got caught. And I stayed with him for 4 years because I thought love meant accepting someone's flaws, working through problems together, believing the best in people. I was wrong. Love doesn't mean accepting lies and theft and manipulation. Love means mutual respect, honesty, and trust. Without those things, you don't have love. You have a relationship, but not a loving one. I'm learning to love myself enough to demand better. My doorbell rings, and Jenna appears with a bottle of wine and a grocery bag. Ready to cook for 12 people, she asks. Ready as I'll ever be. As we're setting up in the kitchen, Jenna asks, any regrets? And about what? Tyler, the wedding, any of it. I consider this while I wash lettuce. I regret that it took me so long to see who he really was. I regret that I ignored the red flags because I wanted to believe in our relationship. I regret that I almost married someone who saw me as a victim instead of a partner. But no regrets about leaving him. None, zero. If anything, I'm angry at myself for not leaving sooner. What if he really does get his act together? What if he gets treatment and becomes the person you thought he was? I dry my hands and turn to look at her. Jenna, the person I thought Tyler was never existed. That was a mask he wore to hide who he really is. Even if he stops gambling, even if he learns to tell the truth, he'll still be someone who was capable of stealing from the person he claimed to love most in the world. And that's unforgivable. For me, yes, I can't be with someone I don't trust, and I will never trust Tyler again. He had every opportunity to tell me the truth, when he first started gambling, when he started losing money, when he got in over his head. Instead, he chose to lie to me every single day for months. That's not a mistake. That's a character flaw. Jenna nods. You know what I admire most about how you handled this? What? You didn't try to save him. A lot of women would have tried to fix him, help him through his addiction, stand by him while he got treatment. And I would have been an idiot if I had. Maybe, but you would have been a typical idiot. Most of us are raised to believe that love means sacrificing ourselves for someone else's problems. I think about this while I chop vegetables. I spent 4 years prioritizing Tyler's needs over my own, making excuses for him when he was stressed or difficult, smoothing things over when he said something hurtful. I was so busy being the perfect supportive girlfriend that I never asked myself if he was being a supportive boyfriend to me. And was he? Not even close. When did Tyler ever sacrifice anything for my happiness? When did he ever put my needs first? I can't think of a single time. But you would have married him. I would have married the idea of him, the future I thought we were building together, but that future was based on lies. The guests start arriving around 6, and soon my small apartment is full of laughter and conversation. My coworkers tell stories about our latest project. Jenna and David show off her engagement ring and talk about their wedding plans, a small ceremony next fall, very low-key. Are you going to have a joint bank account? I ask them, and everyone laughs. Eventually, Jenna says, but we're going to keep some money separate too. Your situation taught us the importance of financial independence. Good, trust but verify. After dinner, we're sitting around my living room with coffee and dessert when one of my neighbors, Maria, asks the question I've been dreading all evening. So, Delilah, are you dating anyone? The room goes quiet. Everyone knows my story. The gambling fiancé, the stolen money, the canceled wedding, and they're all looking at me with that mixture of curiosity and pity that I hate. Not yet, I say. I'm still figuring out what I want in a relationship. That's smart, says my coworker Janet. Take time to heal. It's not about healing, I say, surprising myself with the firmness in my voice. I'm not broken. Tyler didn't damage me. He showed me who he was, and I made a decision based on that information. Now I'm choosing to be more selective about who I let into my life. What do you mean? I set down my coffee cup and think about how to explain this. For 4 years, I thought being a good girlfriend meant being understanding and supportive and trusting. I thought love meant giving someone the benefit of the doubt, even when they didn't deserve it. Doesn't it? To a point, but I also think love means holding your partner accountable. If Tyler had told me about his gambling problem when it started, I would have supported him getting help. If he'd come to me when he was in financial trouble, we could have worked out a solution together. But he chose to lie and steal instead. And when I caught him, he continued lying. So, what are you looking for now? Someone who sees me as an equal partner. Someone who tells me the truth even when it's hard. Someone who makes major decisions with me, not for me. Someone who respects me enough to let me decide for myself what I can handle. That sounds reasonable. You'd be surprised how rare it is. As the evening winds down and people start heading home, Jenna helps me clean up the kitchen. You seem really happy, she observes. I am happier than I've been in years, actually. Even without Tyler. Especially without Tyler. I didn't realize how much energy I was spending managing his moods and making excuses for his behavior. Now I just live my own life. And you don't miss being in a relationship. I consider this. I miss some things about being in a relationship. Having someone to watch movies with on Sunday afternoons, having a built-in date for weddings and parties, having someone who cares about the details of my day. But I don't miss Tyler specifically. I miss the idea of partnership, but I don't miss the reality of being with someone who lied to me constantly. Jenna loads the last of the dishes into my dishwasher. Do you think you'll ever trust someone again? I think I'll trust someone when they prove they deserve it. Tyler had 4 years to prove he deserved my trust, and instead he proved the opposite. What would make you trust someone now? Consistency. If someone's words match their actions, day after day, month after month, then maybe I'll start to trust them. But I'm never again going to trust someone just because I want to believe in them. That sounds lonely. It sounds smart. Jenna, I wasted 4 years of my life with someone who saw me as a mark instead of a partner. I'm not making that mistake again. After Jenna leaves, I sit on my porch with Biscuit, thinking about the evening. My friends are worried that I'm too closed off now, too cynical about love. They think Tyler broke something in me that needs to be fixed. But they're wrong. Tyler didn't break me. He revealed something that was already broken, my willingness to accept less than I deserve. I'm not scared of love. I'm not damaged or bitter or traumatized. I'm selective. I know what healthy love looks like now, and I know what it doesn't look like. It doesn't look like lies and financial secrecy. It doesn't look like making major decisions without consulting your partner. It doesn't look like stealing from the person you claim to love most in the world. Love looks like respect. It looks like honesty, even when it's hard. It looks like partnership, not manipulation. And until I find someone who understands that, I'm perfectly happy being alone. My phone buzzes with one final text of the evening from my sister in California. Saw your promotion post. So proud of you. When are you coming to visit? I text back, soon. I have some vacation days saved up and nowhere else to be. For the first time in years, my schedule is entirely my own. My money is entirely my own. My decisions are entirely my own. It's terrifying and liberating, and exactly what I needed. I scratch Biscuit's ears and watch the stars come out over my new neighborhood, my new life, my new beginning. Tomorrow, I'm going to start planning that trip to California. Maybe I'll take a week, maybe 2. Maybe I'll visit some friends on the way, or explore a city I've never seen. Maybe I'll fall in love with a place and decide to move there. Or maybe I'll come home to this little apartment and continue building the life I'm creating here. The point is, it's my choice. And for the first time in years, I trust myself to make the right one. So here's my question for you. If you discovered your partner had been lying to you about money for months, stealing from your joint savings, gambling it away, then continuing to lie even after getting caught, what would you do? Would you try to work it out? Would you give them another chance? Would you believe their promises to change? Or would you do what I did? Recognize that trust, once broken this completely, can't be rebuilt. I used to think that leaving someone you love over money was shallow. Now I know it was never about the money. It was about respect, honesty, and partnership. It was about refusing to accept a relationship built on lies. Tyler didn't steal $22,000 from me. He stole 4 years of my life by pretending to be someone he wasn't. But I'm not letting him steal any more time. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do, for yourself and for them, is to walk away. What would you do? Let me know in the comments below.